Hi lovelies, I hope you're doing well. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I just have been procrastinating doing it, and now I just decided that I'm gonna go for it and I'm gonna do my best. So please don't judge me because my editing skills are not the best, and right now I'm not super confident in front of the camera, and I also don't know if I always gonna know what to share with you guys, but I'm gonna start and I'm gonna try my best and I'm gonna share whatever I feel like each week. But my plan is to upload one video every Sunday, and it's gonna be 11/11. If you know me, I love all those angel numbers, so I hope you do as well. And if not, that's okay. We're all different, right? That's why my platform is called One You, and also my team, and all my clients are part of Team One You. The backstory to that was that in my opinion, we're all so different, we're all so unique, so I wanted to create a space where you can be you know? So, because you're not supposed to be anyone else, and whatever works for one person is not going to work for the next. Maybe, some cases it does, but not always. We're all unique and we're all different. And I know myself, because of my story and health issues that I've been through, that's a long story. I'm going to try to cut it short so you know a little bit of my backstory, but I don't want to go in depth to it today. If you want in the future, I would love to share more of my story, just because I think it might help other people who doesn't know what they're dealing with. So going back in time, in 2009, I got diagnosed with celiac disease, and I had been struggling with not feeling great. I had stomach aches. I lost 20 pounds, which is around 10 kilos, without doing anything different. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I felt like I was sick all the time. I had brain fog, headaches. I was a mess. But I kept going to the doctor and I tried to get them to help me, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So I started to do some research myself. Not always the best thing to do, but I didn't know what to do, and I tried to research on trustworthy sites on Google. So I mainly used all the research sites, and I figured out that I thought it was celiac. So I went to the doctor, asked them to do it. They did not do it right away, but after a while they gave in and they did the celiac blood test, and it ended up being that. And I also got to do this amazing, what we call it in Sweden, gastroscopy. It's when you go down with a tube down to your small intestine through your throat. So nothing that I ever want anyone else to do in their entire life, or at least you should be put asleep or get something that calms you down and numbs your throat, which my doctor did not do. I'm not going to go off on that tangent, but yeah. Anyhow, I switched my diet, and that's when I really got into nutrition and training, because I felt like my body was so fragile and I wanted to get stronger. So I started lifting weights. I started to fall in love with lifting weight because I wanted to feel strong and powerful again. I didn't want to feel like a fragile person, and the nutrition was what really helped me, because I had to eat a gluten-free diet, and also I had to try to figure out how to nourish my body again in order to build it up, because of the gluten that had broken my body down, and mainly my villi and my intestines. So I had to be really nice, and eat foods that were really kind to my gut in order to get that back in balance again. So that was my celiac, and then fast forward a few years, this was in 2013 I believe, so 10, 11, 12, about 4 years later, I started to feel really weird again, something was not right with my body. I again was sick all the time. I didn't feel well. It was different though than the first time. This time I could wake up with a sore throat every morning, and I felt really tired, and my body was so heavy. When I woke up in the mornings, I felt like I could not move. I felt like I was paralyzed and only could move my eyeballs, look side to side kind of thing. And I had to like prepare in order to try to get up from bed. It was so frustrating, and again I kept going to the doctors and they couldn't figure out, this was back in Sweden, they couldn't figure out what it was. I couldn't figure out either at first, and it was really frustrating because the doctor told me, you look healthy and the blood tests say that you're healthy, and I was like, yeah, I know, but I don't feel healthy. Something is clearly wrong with me, and my family said the same. So again, me and my friend, we started Googling, and what we found was that it might be the Lyme disease. And after doing that research, I went back to the doctor and I asked him if we could test for Lyme, and he answers no. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm 99.9% sure it's not Lyme disease, so we're not going to do that. I was like, okay, but what are we going to do? Because I don't feel good and I want to do something about this. He referred me to one of his colleagues who was an older doctor. I came in there and he basically told me that I was a hypochondriac, and I ran out crying. That was not fun. Luckily I have my mom there with me, which I'm super thankful for. Then about 6 months later, I get a bad flare-up again, because the thing with Lyme is that it can be dormant in your body. And then I had a flare-up again. I went to the doctors, and I was living in Stockholm at that time, and the first thing that doctor was to test me for Lyme, and that was a problem. So he gave me antibiotics, which, I don't know, like, it was probably needed at the time. I don't really like taking it, but sometimes you have to. So I did that for about 6 weeks. It was better after, but it took me so long to get back, and it's still been like coming back, and like, you know, I've had flare-ups, and because when you go with Lyme for that long, it attacks your nervous system and it's harder to get rid of. So, and like with Lyme, it's kind of always going to be in your body. I need to do more research in order to learn more, but you're always going to have elevated, your blood work is always going to show that something is elevated when it comes to Lyme, because it's always going to be in your body. But since I moved to LA, it's been pretty good. I haven't really had any bad flare-ups, and I have been really healthy. But also with the Lyme, again, I had to try to build my body up and eat healthy and make sure that I wasn't on top of my nutrition and my daily movement and sleep and stress and all that. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. And I also learned that we're so different, and a few things that helped me during my worst part of like the Lyme period was daily walks in the sun. And I always listened to a podcast, which was usually Louis' House, because it was personal development and I was so big in that, and I was like, if I can't really train my body, I want to train my mind. So because it's like everything is so connected when it comes to the mind and the body, so I was like, okay, let's train my mind when I can't train my body. So I did that, and then once I felt better, I started to get back into the gym again. So that was the two things, plus like, of course, nutrition, hydration, sleep, stress, and all that. Moving to LA, I was always like, I haven't really had a bad flare-up until this year, actually. And I can't really figure out what I've done differently, but one thing I know is that the weather has been way colder. And with these autoimmune diseases, sometimes what happens is that they kind of flare up when it gets colder. So that might be one reason to it. I also know that I usually don't drink much alcohol, and I usually don't eat much sugar. And the reason to that is because I feel like it triggers my autoimmune diseases in my body. This holidays I did eat a little bit more sugar and I did have a little bit more alcohol than usual. So that might be the reason as well. But I don't know, I feel better now, and I'm like trying to learn and try, like with trial and error, figure out what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And here again, we're so different. It's so important that you find a way that works for you with nutrition, how you eat, with training, how you like to move your body, with mindset, how you like to train your mind, and how you like to, like, if you like to journal, do you like to meditate or breath work. We're also different, so I never ever want to force you to do something. It's so important that you find like a good balance and the things that you really enjoy doing, because you know what happens when you do? If you find what you like, you will be able to stick to it for a longer period of time, and maybe even for the rest of your life. And if you can stick to it for the rest of your life, guess what? It's gonna be way more successful, and you're gonna reach all the goals you set out for yourself. But the important thing here is to find your why, set a goal, and do it your way. It's like the 3 steps that are really important. So therefore, my platform is called One You, and I always want to put you in focus. You are the most important person in your life. Never forget that. And I will be back with another video next Sunday. Please leave any questions that you have that I can answer, and have an amazing week ahead.